Indie Case Files is a production of Inked Geek Studios. Get this and other great shows at inkgeekstudios.com. To help support Indie Case Files and Inked Geek Studios, go to patreon.com/igstudios. As little as $1 a month can help this show and other great content. Thank you very much. Even in the corporate world of AAA video game development, some developers wish to keep the love and passion for gaming alive. What follows is a sea of games designed and published by small studio developers. Some bad, some good. We'll help you decide. This is Indie Case Files, and these are their games.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, gamers of all ages. This is episode 6 of Indie Case Files, and we're back after our hiatus, sabbatical, vacation, whatever it is. I am your host, Amy Frost, and I'm joined, as always, by the other half of this hosting duo, Nate Ward. Nate, how are you?
I'm so tempted.
Show will end before it began. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. We're back.
We are.
We're here and we're back.
We are. It is exciting. It has been a little while for everything, really. But
Yeah.
Mind of a Geek came back Friday night, and now this show is back. Everything's coming back. Everything's coming to be normal again. It's exciting. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
It's 2018.
It is. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, we have a game to talk about.
We do have a game to talk about.
Do we want to kind of maybe like cover a little bit of not the reason for the absence, but maybe like how the holidays went and like what games we were playing, if any? Or
there were Steam sales. I'm just saying.
There were.
I know that I have prepared us for February for our indie games. I bought you a game. I bought me a game.
Indeed. I picked up a game that was recommended by our friend Mr. Sandoval, or Sandoval, called Factorio.
Oh,
which is really awesome.
Nice.
In the time that I've played with it so far.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like a infinite map, open sandbox industrial game. It kind of, in a way, reminds me of like the old school like Transport Tycoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
yeah, like there's no cities, but there's resources, and you have to. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, I have such a backlog. I tried real hard not to like pick up too much new stuff. But when that's the problem with the Steam sale, right? You're like, oh, it's like 85 cents. How can I afford not to buy it?
You know, that is the beauty of having no self-control.
Yeah.
Because like these days, and like I know this has been going around a lot on the internet lately. This is not a humble brag, I promise. But like these days, when a Steam sale comes up, like I don't get excited for them anymore because anything that's on sale that's worthwhile, I already own.
Yeah.
Because
I was psyched for it for this show because of it. 'Cause it's like
there are definitely gonna be indie games that I would not own.
Right.
Normally, so it definitely works out in that favor. But I mean, in reality, unless you're talking an indie game like Factorio that's $20 or what was that other one? There Are Billions or whatever. That's like $25. Like when an indie game goes on sale, you're talking the difference between like $5 and $10. Yeah. Like it usually
we
isn't.
tend to pick the higher end ones though. So.
We do, yeah. I mean, I think those are the ones that. I mean, it's good because most games that fall within that $1 to $5 range, I think anyone that seems interested is going to get it.
Right.
So I think,
they're like a lot of them wind up being like glorified mobile games.
Exactly, yeah. Or they're roguelikes, which are great, but kind of become the same thing after a while.
Right.
So yeah, and you take the bite on the $20 to $30 ones, and because that's high for an indie game. I mean that's a premium price for an indie game.
Right.
And then it opens people up and lets them kind of see the game because it's easy to. Again, that's where the nickel and dime phrase comes from. It's easy to do like $1 or even $5 these days. That's a cup of coffee.
Right.
So it's easy to dump that on a game. Whereas, that $20, $30, for a lot of people, that's still lunch for a week. People don't want to impulse $30.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
So we do it for you.
We're gonna force you to do it because
Right.
these games are great.
Or like tonight, where we'll be giving a copy of the game away.
Giving a copy away.
So if you're listening to the podcast version of this, next time try and catch it live for the chance of a giveaway.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, the game
Yeah.
is Stardew Valley. I've been playing it for a while. I got it basically at launch. I have it on PC. I have it on the Switch, which if there is any game that complements the Switch and its mobility,
Yeah.
it's Stardew Valley.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
we'll talk about why in a little bit. But that makes sense.
Stardew Valley in your pocket is like having your crack dealer follow you around all the time.
Hey man, just plant a row of turnips. Like,
Right.
don't worry about it.
Exactly.
I got cauliflower seeds.
So, I mean, I guess we can get right into it. I mean, I don't know how, like, I mean, it's been a couple months, so I'm not really worried so much about format. We'll just naturally fall into it. But I'm going to start off this episode talking about the game, talking about how this game surprised me.
Yeah.
And the reason that this game surprised me was like, I never did Animal Crossing.
Yep.
I never did. What was that other game that you?
Harvest Moon.
Yeah, I never played Harvest Moon. None of those were ever part of they were never in my wheelhouse.
Right.
Anyone that knows me knows that I am like a PvP junkie. The military shooters, like that's me. So like those life simulators never really fell into my wheelhouse.
Yep.
This game I stumbled across because of other people whose opinions I respect said it's amazing, and I picked it up. When I picked it up, my first impulse was, oh, it's Farmville, because you're farming.
Yeah.
And again, the biggest surprise to me was that the game is so much more than that.
Right.
And it amazed me how like farming was kind of a thing to fund you at first.
Right.
But how much, depending on what path you go in the game, how much you like that really becomes like an afterthought once you delve into like the dungeon crawling and all those different things that are in this game. And it blew me away that a game developed by one
guy
was so in depth and so intricate in all the different things that it does and all the relationships and the ability to form friendships and have romantic relationships and get married. Like there's so much depth to this game that for an indie game for $15, again, by one man, it's amazingly developed.
Yeah. So I have been playing Harvest Moon for the better part of 2 decades because the first one came out in 1997. And I've been playing them since then. So here's... All right, not to take anything away from Stardew Valley and the one guy who made it, which is amazing.
Right.
But it is Harvest Moon. It's like the first and second one. Like all those design decisions and all, like it just is. Like there's some different stuff. Like you can customize your character significantly more than you ever could in those early versions. And it's certainly nothing like what Harvest Moon has become now, because it really branched off from that like original, like, but I mean, down to the fact that it's your grandfather's old farm that you go put back together. And like I got most of the way through spring. Like I didn't play it for a tremendously long time. But like the Egg Festival is in Harvest Moon. Like I've played enough of them that I could pick out the people who were dateable without looking up who was dateable, just based off of what they looked like.
The stereotypes from...
And how they acted. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like...
You've got dating skills in life simulator video games, is what you're saying.
I'm telling you, before my first week was done, I had a wife picked out because the guys are all bitches. I don't know if you noticed that, but they are bitches. I was like, gentlemen.
Admittedly, in this particular game, the couple times I've played through it, I did my typical like hit A to skip all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Because the characters seemed cool and all the different things that happened certainly seemed cool, but I was more so concerned with the gameplay elements and stuff like that. So I was just trying to breeze through all that, like to try out the fishing and things like that. And what I was really trying to do, because I'm me, is I was trying to get I was trying to get enough gold to buy the thing at like the Walmart store. That way they could take the city over.
Of course you were.
I wanted
Of
to
course
see
you
I
were.
wanted to see what it did.
All right, so there's a couple things that are a little different from like that's one of them. So there's this old rundown city hall, and you go in there and you find like the mayor who's been a mayor for I forget however long, and he wants to save the town. Like he doesn't know why. It's the community center.
That
That's what it is.
yes, yep.
And he's like, I don't know. I should probably tear this down, but this is so great. And I'm just, I guess the next time somebody joins us, it's like the Sam's Club of Stardew Valley, which you used to work for at the beginning. Like you were working for this Jojo or Jajo or something like that.
Jaja? Is it Jaja?
Something like that.
Juju.
That you're
Maybe,
working
yeah.
for before you decide to just
Did you
pick up and go to your
Were
dead
you working
grandpa's
for them?
farm. Yeah, you're working for them in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's in like that little intro thing.
Yeah, where you're
That's
sitting
right.
in a cubicle.
Right.
Yeah. So before you go, decide that you're going to be a farmer. It's the hipster dream. And so, like he says that he'll tear it down if like one more person buys a membership to the club. So of course you were trying to
Buy a
do
membership
that
to the
as
club.
fast as possible. But there's like little magical critters in there. And you got to go see a wizard to get nature magic so you can understand what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah, see, and that
Which
goes
is-
in that goes along with that depth that I was talking about. Like those are just
Right.
things I was not expecting to find in this game.
Yeah, so there's a lot more of that stuff in this. Like there's a lot more side quests. Like whereas like in the Harvest Moon games, it's pretty linear. You're just kind of you're doing your time
So-
on your farm and
So let's pull back a little bit because in our show notes here, like you've referenced Harvest Moon several times, and I made an Animal Crossing connection because of the whole like building relationships and doing favors for people and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so it definitely like, but again, my Animal Crossing experience is very minimal at best.
yeah.
Like, it like is that accurate? Like, am I looking at Animal Crossing the right way? Or
Animal Crossing was always more about like, I mean, there's elements of it certainly because like Animal Crossing has always been about like making friends with animals so that they give you cool presents and like decorating your house,
right?
which is certainly part of it.
That's decorating in this game. You're decorating
Yeah.
your farm.
Yeah, but like I mean, Harvest Moon has all that too. Like you gotta
Right.
be friends with people so they'll help you out and you unlock different stuff by being friends with the right people, and it's like life.
Right.
But it makes sense that you say that this game is so awesome on the Switch because, I mean, I played back. It must have been the GameCube back in the beginning. But ever since then, I've played them all on like my DS or my 3DS or whatever. Like they are take them with you games.
Right. Yeah, because it's kind of like, I mean, at least, and the game looks really cool on the ultra wide. Like having it
Yeah.
like fully blown up looks really cool. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's like hashtag overkill.
Yeah.
It's like Hearthstone. Like if I'm sitting at my computer, I'm not gonna play Hearthstone. Like Hearthstone's for my phone and for my iPad. Like
Right.
I'm gonna play a game at my computer. And it's kind of like I wouldn't play Mario on my computer, but I'll play it on the go on the Switch. Like that's why the Switch
Yeah.
is so great, because, and I think, and not to kind of make this more about that, but like I think that Nintendo kind of nailed that because if you get, it's certainly not a high percentage of gamer, but I would say it's more this time around in this generation than it was the generation prior. You get people who have, maybe they don't have an Xbox One and a PS4 because those
Yeah.
are kind of one and the same with the exception of a half a dozen exclusives.
Right.
But most people will have one of the two flagship consoles.
Yep.
They'll have a Nintendo console to complement it.
Yep.
And I think unless you are a hardcore Nintendo fanboy or just a hardcore Nintendo fan, 9 times out of 10, unless a new game just came out that week, it's always going to go flagship over Nintendo.
Right.
They're faster paced games. The online play is traditionally better because Nintendo's never been good at that.
Right.
So I think Nintendo really was smart by saying, look, you can play it at home and we'll give you this dock so you can play it in 1080p, but you
Right.
can take it on the go.
Yeah.
which is something that Microsoft never tried to do and Sony failed miserably at. I mean, because that's where Nintendo rules the roost completely, is mobile
absolutely
market.
mobile. Yeah.
And I think that the Switch was a good move because the games that were doable on the DS are doable on a phone, and usually better. You have a higher resolution screen. It works better, but the Switch brings it to another level.
Yep.
That the DS can't do. So yeah, this game, I mean, it was a no question buy. I bought this game the day it came out on the Switch. I was playing it at work. I was playing it parked. I mean, it was great, and it's so much fun. You get lost in it completely, and it is we've been playing Civ lately and talking about how it's a time killer. Stardew is a time killer.
Oh yeah, Stardew is absolutely a time killer because you're like, yeah, no, let me just get these turnips up, and then it'll be good.
It's tomorrow.
It'll be good. Yeah, that definitely. I lost an entire day to that. I like so my favorite thing about these kind of games are that, I have my own wealth building trick of selling garbage to locals. This is my entire life. Just like, look, I found this crap. Would you like to buy it? Excellent. It's like every RPG strategy ever.
Right.
Just selling bullshit to
Unless
natives.
you're like me and when playing Final Fantasy, but when you kill the last boss, you still have the very first elixir that you picked up because you never use it just in case you need it.
Just in case. I'm gonna save all this stuff. Oh, yeah. So that was my big hurdle, by the way, to the beginning of this game. So you got to get like a lot of money to buy a backpack.
Yeah, there is definitely a paywall and I think, again, to kind of go back to the whole, there's so many things to discover.
Yeah.
I think that's why they make the initial paywall, and obviously I'm talking in-game currency.
Right.
They make that initial paywall a little high to make you explore.
You have to do that.
You
stuff.
have to go and you have to find the little ghoulies in the community center, and you have to find the wizard, and you have to find the dungeon. And you have to go fishing, and and I think that's there to make it so you don't get tunnel vision on one thing.
Yeah. Oh, so the other thing is that you get to pick what kind of farm you build on. There's like a basic farm. There's one by a river, which is the one that I wound up picking. There's a forest one where like all the forest stuff is way closer to your house, and then there's one with monsters at night.
Oh, cool.
Which looked cool, but I hadn't played before, so.
Now, I hadn't taken advantage of any of those. When the game first launched, none of that was there. It was just the first farm.
Yeah.
And then, I haven't gone and tried any of those because I just assumed, I mean, it was either aesthetic, which sounds like, obviously the monster one probably adds more difficulty.
Yep.
But I wanted to take as much time as I could to explore what the game offered from the base level. And again, I found myself, I'd get lost on one thing. Like I got stuck dungeon crawling for like a couple hours one time.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I ran out of energy and then 2:00 in the morning hit and like the old man dragged me back to the house. Like, we took 30 gold. Thanks.
It's fine.
That was probably the most frustrating thing about this game to me is the energy element. I don't know why it's there.
I mean, I do because like you have to pick and choose what you do. Like you can't just like go ham all day and all night. Like, cause you wouldn't be able to. Like I'm certainly not saying that it's realistic, but otherwise there'd be no reason for you to ever stop. Like you could just spend an entire day and plow your whole field and be done. And
that's
you'd have
true.
Thousands and thousands of dollars in just garbage you picked up in a day.
No, you're not wrong. That's true.
So it makes you decide. I got tired fishing out like by the ocean. So I was like dragging my feet and it took forever to get home. But I mean, like, so this is how similar it was. I didn't open the map for the longest time because I just kind of knew where stuff was because it was like Harvest Moon. Like, that's how weird you know what I mean? Like, it was just, I kind of knew how to get places because I'd played so many.
I mean, and I can see that. I mean, I suppose it's like any, I mean, like setup. I mean, maybe like the stores aren't in the same place, but like a similar idea. But it's like playing a city builder, like no matter what city builder you play, like the same starting method is always going to work.
Right.
When you play The Sims, whether it's Sims 1 or Sims 4, like the same basic setups are going to work.
Right.
So something that's especially in a sim setting, it's like or playing a game of Hearthstone, or you have a formula that you follow.
Right.
Every opponent's different, but if you're playing with the same deck, the formula remains the same. So same idea. It's that formula is there. So once you've played them enough, you just kind of fall into rhythm. It's like playing a WoW based MMO, whether it's SWTOR or WoW or Elder Scrolls Online or any of those. Like it's the buttons are the same. Everything just falls into place.
You go kill bears. Yep.
Yes.
No matter what.
Right. Or boars.
Yes. Forever. Yeah. So really fun. Really fun. They did add a couple other limiting factors to things that I thought was kind of cool. Like you have a limited number of gifts that you can give people every week. So you can't just like sit down and spam people with gifts until they love you. You can't just buy someone's affection. Just love me. Take all these spring onions. I know you like them.
Go cry. Here's some onions.
I'm saving up for a cheese press. Don't worry. Don't worry, baby.
Indeed.
I had priorities in this mission.
Yeah, and again, I can see why the limitations there. I think I don't know. They're like the game doesn't hold your hand at all.
Okay, because that was one thing that I wanted to ask you, because I didn't think that it had a whole lot in the way of tutorial.
No.
But I didn't know that if that was just me, like if I just ignored it because
no, it's not there.
Know what I'm doing, or if it just wasn't there.
No, it's a lot of things, and it may sound like, okay, so things that would be rudimentary, right? Like you have to know to go out and water your crops every day. Nobody tells you you have to do that. It doesn't tell you that. No.
Right? Okay. That's what I thought.
But yeah, but you might just think, okay, I planted and I watered it. Like, I mean, anybody who knows anything about growing anything knows you have to water it every day.
Right.
But it doesn't tell you that.
Okay.
I don't think it tells you right off. I mean, maybe you get something in the mail.
That's most of the tutorial stuff. Is
a day or two in. But like, I don't think there's any easy, like there's no write off of whole, like you don't have to walk all the way to town to sell stuff. Just toss it in your garbage bin.
No, he does tell you that. He tells you,
does he?
Guy's like, hey, so there's a bin. If you throw stuff in it, I'll pick it up and I'll pick it up overnight and give you the money.
Okay, so he does tell you that. Okay.
He does tell you that part.
Yeah. But I mean, little things like, did you ever bother looking at the TV and look at the weather report?
Because I know that's where the weather forecast is.
Now, see,
I've played Harvest Moon.
Right. And see, I don't think anything explained, like, a farming game, sure, there are crops that grow in spring and crops that grow in...
It does give you a warning. I think it was in the mail about halfway through spring, letting you know that crops die when the seasons change unless they are crops that grow over more than one season. So... because like if you plant something 3 days before the end of the season and it takes 4 days to grow, you are not getting anything out of that.
Right.
And then, it's nice to know, the next day's weather for your planning purposes, especially like, I don't know if it's the same because I didn't quite get to animals yet, but like in Harvest Moon, if you leave your animals out in the rain, they can get sick. So you have to kind of pay attention to that, but they like to be outside. So you got to like bring them outside, and then you don't have to feed them if they're outside, but you got to bring them in if it's going to rain.
Now, see, you mentioned you got to the point where you had a cat.
I did get a cat.
Yeah. And
that was awesome.
I did have the dog.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice any interaction.
No, the cat and dog don't really do anything. Like you can make it love you. Like I talk to my cat every day, and he would give me a little meow and a little heart. It's like we were besties. But he mostly just slept because it's a cat.
It's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog, I think, if I recall, was like walking around the farm sniffing things. Like he does.
Yeah. No, so like the pet animals never really do a ton. Like in any of the Harvest Moon games. I don't think... I want to say your dog could help you do some stuff, but not really. Like it's not like an integral part. It's more like chickens and cows and stuff like that.
Ah, okay.
And sheep.
Now, do you get to the point where you have like animals on your farm in
Yep.
Stardew?
So like, because I did a lot of digging in the wiki.
Okay.
I wanted to be prepared.
Oh yeah, you can like build a barn, right?
Yeah, you can build a barn. Like, so I got to the point where I did so there were kind of quests. Like you had a quest log,
Right.
which was kind of nice because like you can go off and do your own thing, but here's what you can do and gives you a little directions
Right.
and you get rewarded for it. So I got to the point where I had the quest to build a chicken coop. I did not have the money or the resources to do so, but in my experience with these kind of games, that's sort of when the money starts really coming in.
Right.
Because you just have animals that just make money all the time, as long as you take care of them. But usually it was like, if it's nice out and you put the animals outside, then you don't have to feed them. They feed themselves on like whatever's outside and they're happier. But if you leave them out in the rain, they get sick and they have to go buy medicine, which is usually a lot of gold.
At that point, is it just cheaper to let them die and replace them?
No, definitely not. Not let Elsie die. What's wrong with you?
Well, no, you just.
Plus, they never die. They just sit there and are sad and
They
don't
sit there
make
and
any
sulk.
milk.
Can you elect to turn them into food? Like, can I carve up my chickens?
I don't think so. You can eat the eggs, but I think that's it. Usually pick feathers or whatever.
Right. So one thing with this game,
Yes.
which games that are open and kind of don't give me any direction, I find myself doing this a lot, especially when, because I'm not a single game person.
Right.
You're right. So like if I don't touch it for a week or 2 weeks, I will find myself restarting every time I go back to it. Which is good because I'd take what I learned from the previous playthrough and I would be more efficient on my next start.
Yeah.
But I really would like to at some point take some time to sit and invest, like maybe like a night of streaming or something into this game, or a couple nights of streaming, to see, because I would love to see where it goes. Because there are people, just like with Minecraft, just like with Terraria, just like with any of these games that are kind of like, build your area. And this, you're not physically building the land, but you're building your farm.
Right.
And there are people who play the game and like dedicate solely to it. Like I saw in putting out some tweets today, I saw one where someone was like, what was the tweet? It was like, yeah, sex is great, but waking up and having it rain outside so you don't have to water your crops is wonderful.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. So like there are people who just swear by this game.
Oh, I definitely could. Like, I feel like going back to this game, I felt like I was an addict, like going back out there. Like I'm sitting there and I gotta be like, all right, one day at a time, man. We don't have to get back into it. It's okay. We can just like play this for a little while. Like we don't have to just only play this forever for the rest of our lives. It's cool. It's cool. We can just I can stop whenever I want.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah. No, so I mean, because I found a statue on my property, like when I was cleaning stuff up, and it said something like, "I'll be back at the beginning of your 3rd year" or something like that. So, I mean, that's a time investment.
Yeah. I wonder if that's the grandfather.
It probably is.
I was
As
never
far as I
really
know, it
dead.
is.
I was just trying to pull you from your boring corporate
Your
life.
sad corporate life.
Yeah. I'm alive. Taking my farm back. Fuck you.
Yeah, right? Thanks for fixing it for me.
Right.
Now get the hell out.
That would be amazing. Like
It would
I
be
would
actually
love
kind of
like
the best.
like the grandfather died, you went and took over the farm, and like no matter what happens after 3 years he comes back and is like,
He's like,
"Yep,
well,
thanks bitch." Here you go.
mine now.
Like that would I would do that. If somebody told me
Yeah.
that's what happened, I would get there.
Yeah. You're like, we are. Have your coffee, but like, we're not stopping. Let's go. Keep it moving.
Indeed.
I got kind of hooked on fishing for a while once I got the hang of it. Well, once I plugged my controller in, I got the hang of it.
It is significantly easier with a controller. It is a pain on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. then forgot that I had my controller plugged in, went to play Overwatch, which was fine for like 3 games. And then my computer was like, oh shit, a controller, let's do that instead. And like my keyboard was like, no, 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 no. And they went back and forth for a while. And it took me a minute to figure out why.
I've never had that conflict, but one thing I have done is had my controller. I think it's plugged in right now. It is. Yeah, it's plugged in right now. I've had my controller plugged in, and then I would go play a game, and I've never had a game try and fight for control between keyboard, mouse,
no,
and
I just
controller.
kept going back and forth. I was like, what's happening?
See,
it was only when the buttons turned to like controller buttons that I was like, oh, I know what's happening.
One thing that's happened several times is I'll play a game that features controller vibration, and my controller will be on the desk and then start vibrating out of nowhere and scare the hell out of me.
Nice. That's good.
That's
Solid.
happened plenty of times.
Yep.
This is definitely if you have a controller though, this is definitely. I mean, it works just fine.
It's a good chill game. It's fine on keyboard, but
yeah, the movement is a little janky with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah,
because it's very easy to like just kind of aim where your plot point is and move. But like, I don't know. It took me a little while using keyboard and mouse. It took me a little while to get used to like the aiming and placing of things.
Did you have the little square turned on?
I did. I don't like. Right. I don't love a game that makes it place in like don't. It's the biggest pain when you're watering or planting seeds. Like, don't worry about the direction my character's facing in. Worry about where my cursor is. Like, if my cursor is over that empty plot, that's obviously where I want the seeds to go. Don't make me dance with my character to try and get him lined up on the right spot where that's where it's going.
Right.
Like, have my cursor be the guide. I appreciate the simulation, but it doesn't need to be quite that hardcore. Like, sure, make me be right next to it. Make me be within reach.
No, I agree.
But, like, my guy can just, like, throw some seeds off to the side. Like, I don't need to face it and look at it.
Yeah. Harvest Moon, you could do a whole plot of 9. Like, you could just stand in the middle.
Right.
And it would just throw seeds all around you and at your feet in, like, a 9 square block.
I assume you end up unlocking some tech that gives you, like, auto seeders.
Yeah, I know you can do...
there's auto waterers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I built a scarecrow.
Nice.
He was pretty great. Not that I had a crow problem to begin with, but it's fine. It's fine. My cat just sat and looked at it. It's great.
Like, what is that thing?
I'm glad I spent all these resources making this. I accidentally built a fence one day because I hit the build menu by accident.
Did you just have like a single fence?
Like one fence post in the middle of like town. Just chilling. Because I built it and I was like, oh, I don't remember my bag. I'll just leave
now,
this
you
here.
know, one thing that I thought would be a cool alternate direction for this game.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely not the default setting, but like an alternate direction. So are you familiar with Terraria?
Vaguely.
Okay. And I think you can do this in Minecraft too. Like I've never went deep into like vanilla Minecraft. Like I always mod the fuck out of it, which I think a lot of people do. But with Terraria, you build up buildings. And as you build buildings in Terraria, different NPCs will come. So you end up building your own little town. And I thought that would be a fun alternate style of gameplay where like the town is gone and you just have an empty plot of land and you're there. And like they would have to do something to balance the gold resources. Like maybe you could ship stuff off in the box still and get gold.
Right.
But like, and you build up buildings. And as you build buildings, townspeople come. So not only are you trying to build yourself up in your farm, but you're also building the town. Yeah. And I thought that would be a fun element.
That's a different game, I think.
Yeah,
like that's a lot more involved.
It could be, yeah. But it would be an interesting element to add.
I like because this has that like you're an outsider, and so some of the townspeople are like very glad you're there, and they're willing to help you, and they're happy that someone's taking over the farm and they're gonna fix it up. But there are other townspeople that are, just like, what do you want? Get out of here. Whatever. So, there's that like I'm gonna fit in and I'll show them. That's good.
I wish your character could have more dialogue. Like I wish you could be more of a. I wish you could.
Yeah, that's definitely
Develop-
lacking in this. Like, there's no
Like you don't have
no dialogue.
You don't have a
trees.
character. You are typical like 80s 90s RPG. You are the silent figure.
Yeah. I have purple pigtails though, so
Nice. See, like what
solid.
I really wanted to do, like one of the first things that came to mind in playing this game was, are you familiar with the Pauly Shore movie Son-in-Law? Where he's like the guy from the big city and now he's hanging out with all the rednecks on the farm.
Yes.
And like, yeah. So like it would totally be cool to have like a Pauly Shore son-in-law type character where it's like, look at all you backwards people.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's definitely lacking in this game. You don't have a dialogue tree at all.
No.
I just walk up to girls and hand them onions.
They're all very shallow. They don't want to
Working
talk
out
to you. They just
so
want you to buy them shit.
That's fine. My girl is a sculptor. She works in her house most of the day, and then she goes outside and stares at the water. It's going pretty well so far. I'm just saying.
Got something serious going on there.
Right now.
It's pretty
It's
serial.
I'm playing the long con here, but
It's pretty serial.
it is super serial right now. Got my
Super
purple
serial, bro.
pigtails. I got my little orange cat. Everything's going pretty well on my farm. I figured out how to fish, and that's a moneymaker. I like fishing at the lake in my house way more than I like fishing in the ocean.
Is that viable? Because I had that notion and I tried that, but it seemed like I just
well, maybe
got
because I
boots.
picked the river. I picked the river farm.
Oh yeah, see, I have like the
I may
little,
have extra water.
I have like the little puddle.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
it
no.
usually just gives
I have
me
like a
junk
big
and boots.
lake.
It's
behind my
amazing how
house
much
and-
junk is sitting at the bottom of that little pond, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I catch good fish out the back pretty regularly. But like I'll fight for a fish. Which I really like the mechanic of fishing in that. It just takes a little bit to get a hang of. And
Right.
as you level up your fishing, it gets easier and easier, which is nice. But I'll like fight for this fish and it's like, you caught a 3-inch anchovy. Freaking great. Thank you. I'm glad.
It's a powerful
that we went
fucking
through all
anchovy. Right. I've always been a sucker for fishing in
me too.
games. And I think it stems back to like Ultima Online from like the mid 90s because it was the only game I ever played up to this point. And I don't know, again, I didn't get into it with Stardew much, but it was the only game I ever played where there was more to fishing than fish.
Yeah.
Like in Ultima, like you could fish and pull up like treasure, like you could pull up like bottles with treasure maps and like use treasure hunting skills and find treasure, and like that was cool.
Animal Crossing does stuff like that too. And in Animal Crossing, you can then like, if you get a cool fish, you can put it in your house. Like you put it down and it gets its own little fish tank and stuff. And
Oh, that's cool.
that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, no, I've definitely, that's how I made all of my WoW gold. All of it. Fishing.
The turtle mount in WoW that you get from fishing in Northrend.
Yeah. Yeah. Serious business.
It is. I don't have it.
No,
I spent
don't.
hours and hours and hours fishing. I never got it.
No, me neither.
Back when it dropped, I had a roommate who was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try." Like, I shit you not. Like, I was sitting there all day fishing for it. Grabs a fishing pole, a fishing skill of 1. 1 click gets
God
the
damn it.
turtle. I'm like, I'm gonna murder you.
You are not fly with RNG,
I mean,
clearly.
but like, whatever. I've had dumb luck in that game too. Like, I got the purple macaw from Booty Bay.
Yeah.
That sells for a fuck ton of gold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, whatever. Everyone gets their random luck. But yeah, no. I would love to see all of the things that this game has to offer. I think if I were to say a negative thing about it, that is probably the negative thing. Is so many of the cool things that this game offers,
Are later.
it's behind a lot of playtime.
Yep.
So it's not like the cool things are there to attract you. The cool things are there to reward you for investing the time.
Yep.
And I'm not quite sure if the balance is there. Like, there is no cookie. There is no crumb trail or breadcrumb trail. Like, you have to know that it's there and you have to want to get to it. because you
Right.
don't get the rewards on the way. Like you do, I guess, in small ways, but it's not like a gradual system like an RPG type thing.
Right.
It's like, hey, look, there's all this stuff way out here. Give me 100 hours, and you can have
We'll
it.
get there, buddy.
Right. But
And
again,
at least we've got the egg festival
that's certainly
coming
not
up.
that's certainly not to its fault. I mean, that's a
No.
good thing.
No, I mean that was the whole thing. Like when the first Harvest Moon game came out, my nephews who were young at the time and who all just wanted to play like shooting games and whatever, like they played the hell out of them, and my mother loved it. Like my mother thought it was the greatest thing ever. I should hook her up with Stardew Valley. Be like, here you go, Mom. Have a good one. See you in 6 weeks.
Right.
Well, let me know how it goes. So the one thing that Animal Crossing has in some versions that would be kind of nice is the ability for people to come visit your farm. Like that would be kind of sweet. Like even if you can't play together necessarily, be like, hey, you should come over and check out my farm. Because I do miss that.
I feel like an online element was talked about. I feel like somebody said, I was talking to somebody in conversation. You said that was being added in the future.
Ooh, that would be nice.
At the very least, a leaderboard system. Like a leaderboard system. Like for me, like I love a multiplayer game. I love a PvP type system. But I also just love the spirit of competition. So like if you could give me a leaderboard where I can do like, friends and then local and then global and like just have it be like the overall value of the farm or
Yes.
whatever or like how deep you've gone in the dungeon or how many fish you caught or like how many times you got married or whatever, like some sort of leaderboard statistic. So there's a level of competition involved. Cause I mean, everyone that knows me knows that I like a level of competition in my games. I mean, that's what keeps me coming back to Diablo 3 every season is the ladder.
Yes.
I don't actually play with other people in competition, but you compete on the ladder. And I think some sort of multiplayer, at least a ladder system, would be really cool for this game.
Okay, so they are putting multiplayer in.
Okay, so I was accurate there.
Yep. So basically what it will do is that you'll be able to build up to 3 cabins on your farm, and each cabin will house a farmhand, which is controlled by one of your friends. Farmhands
that's cool.
can do almost anything the main player can do. They can farm, mine, fish, fight, forage, marry NPCs, and take part in festivals. Each player has their own inventory. When a farmhand is not connected, their inventory can be managed through the chest in their cabin. The biggest thing is that, and it's all going to run through Steam, which is great.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
So the biggest thing that they're talking about is trying to retrofit a game with multiplayer that did not have it to begin with is an adventure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's basically like redoing a game.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. And that's why like a lot of the times like with the Escapists, for example, which we did a few months ago, like Escapist 1 had no multiplayer. So when they introduced multiplayer, they just introduced it in the sequel. Whether or not I think this game would have a sequel anytime soon, it definitely seems like something that would be more so, I think DLC, if anything, would be more appropriate for added content. I don't know if you could do a sequel.
So they wanted to do the multiplayer beta at the end of the year, but they're pushing it back to Q1 of this year. They're implementing marriage between players and recently finished working on festivals. They're also working on new content along with the multiplayer update.
Nice.
And there's a screenshot of like a character fishing in I want to say it's like in a fish tank in some sort of underwater thing or in an aquarium. I don't know. It looks like you're in a submarine and you're fishing out of the submarine. I don't know, but it looks amazing.
Interesting.
Pretty excited.
Perhaps
I'm back in.
Perhaps
you got me back in.
Perhaps,
I got out, man.
Perhaps once the new content drops, we should revisit the game.
We will revisit the game. I will still be visiting the game. Let's not like this happened. I'm back now. I was out for a lot of years. Now I'm back, and
I should boot it up and give it, because I haven't played it on PC in a while. I was playing it on the Switch.
Yeah.
But I think I still say, other than Ark, which I've spent way too much time in the past, I think my highest played game on Steam is Terraria with like 180 hours.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to games like this, again, whether it be Minecraft or Terraria or something like this, or like those other than your MMO, these are my long haul games.
Right.
When it comes, I mean, I am a AAA guy through and through. Like that's what I like. But when it comes to the long investment, I definitely seem to get more of my money out of like these life simulator things. I was always a sucker for The Sims, though I'm not a big fan of.
Oh yeah, no, the fact that I did not buy 4 when it was on sale.
I'm not a big fan of what they did with 4. You can get it for free through Origin Access right now. So like you can pay like $5 for a month and get the deluxe edition of 4 for free. For just $5. But
so let's just get all my addictions just right back up.
But again, like The Sims always irked me a little bit because it's purely single player, and they dropped the ball horribly with The Sims Online.
Yes. Did you ever play the whatever the medieval one was? Yeah, it was Sims Medieval. That was a great game.
The most of my time invested in Sims was Sims 2.
Yeah.
And then you had all those mod sites. I think we've talked about this. Like they had like the 7 Deadly Sims, and like I had a serial killer.
Yep.
Yeah, I would invite people over for a pool party and then remove all the means of leaving the pool because the AI couldn't just climb out.
Yep.
So then everyone would drown, and then I had a collection in my basement of urns and tombstones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Sims Medieval was fun in that it gave you purpose. It gave you things to do in addition to just existing.
Right. Sims 4 has a pretty cool quest system. I don't know. I never got past building my house.
Yeah.
Because they added all these really weird, crazy, convoluted systems to building a house. Like there's all these like pre-built, pre-structured rooms you can do now, and you just like put it together. And like it's just like, yeah, it's not bad. I don't have the time for Sims.
I don't either. That's why I tried really hard not to get it, but
no,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be that in Stardew. I'm gonna have one on one monitor, one on the other. You're gonna switch back and forth. You're gonna be a mess. Oh boy.
So I would say my overall rating for this game, in the show notes I put 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I want to stress that that's my opinion on the Switch. And not that the game is different, but in the setting, I think this game works great as a bring it along with you, pick it up for 15, 20 minutes, do your farm stuff, do your stuff for the day, sleep, and like that's your session for the day. Like I personally don't love it as something to sit at on the computer and dump 6 hours into.
Yeah.
But I think it's great to carry along with you. I would love to see. I think the iPhone screen's a little small. Like even if you have like a 10 or a Plus, like I still think it's a little bit small.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it would work well on a mini or an iPad. But so I could definitely see it there. I don't know if a mobile version is in their future. I mean, they have it on the Switch, so I suppose it would just be a matter of implementing touch controls.
Right.
But yeah, I would say 4 out of 5 for like an on-the-go sit-down. Again, for me, it's not a long-haul game. Obviously, for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, it's definitely a long-haul game.
I mean, I only put like 6 straight hours into it the other day. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. I mean, I can stop whenever I want.
But as far as the quality of development for it being, again, an indie game done by one man, it's one of the best developed indie games I've ever played.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I also give it 4 out of 5. I am in it for the long haul quite happily. No problem. And like it is derivative, but it's a hell of a derivation. Like I mean, it's like I read an article that with an interview with the guy Eric who made it, and he said that he was unhappy with the direction that the Harvest Moon games had gone, so he just made another one.
So really quick,
solid.
for those of us that don't know, myself
Yeah.
included, like, what is the direction the Harvest Moon games went that everyone seems to be upset, or
So-
that people seem to be upset with?
No, and I don't think they're upset because they're still good games, but it's
Right.
gotten to be like there's a lot more RPG elements to it. Like there's a lot more. The first one that really branched off, like there were monsters that visit, that attacked the village and stuff. Like it almost felt more like Zelda with farming.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it was a lot
It's funny
more
because that's how I
adventure-y
felt
instead
about
of
this
just-
game. Like it felt like Zelda. Like it's because there's the dungeon, but they don't openly attack. You have to go do it.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, and I suppose that's why he added that extra farm where the monsters attack the farm for people who liked that element of Harvest Moon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with like Minecraft having the, creative mode or survival mode.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a similar idea. But yeah, so it became a lot less about just like I'm going to sit and build my farm and marry the girl of my dreams and carry on. I mean, because it wasn't even until like the third or fourth one that you could play a girl. So that was a big day for me. I was so happy in her little overalls. I like the graphics in this. It's good. It's retro-y, but not too kitschy, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, no, I give it a 4 out of 5, and I can quit anytime I want.
My bot doesn't seem to want to cooperate with a viewer list. And chat room's been quiet, so I'm not sure. Are you still in Twitch?
Me, no.
Because
I had to close it because you lagged out.
That's fine. I'll let me pop it up on my phone really quick. No, I don't care that spatula went live.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes.
Right. Well, I just wanted to see. Oh, come on. Streaming talk shows. Yes, join. Bum ba dum bum. No, I don't need volume.
Nailed it.
Echo. All right.
Nailed it.
So again, my bot is acting up, and so if you are in the chat room, and you would like a chance to win a copy of the game, speak up. And if depending on who speaks up, then I will either give it away or I will do a raffle, depending on the amount of people. But my bot is not cooperating with chat room population at the moment. But while we're doing that, or while I'm waiting for that, I think that kind of does it.
Yeah, I think it does.
Do we have some idea of what we're going to be focusing on for games in the next couple episodes?
I think maybe next episode we might do separate games. I don't know.
Sure.
We both have a couple of things. And then
I mean, I'm down for that because I think I could definitely have an episode about Factorio, but I don't know if that's a game that you'd dump $20 on.
yeah. And I have a pile of games.
Well, there you go.
And then after the next episode, we're into February, which if there's one thing that indie games know, it's dating simulators.
Of course.
And there are some doozies out there. I got you one. And then I know of another one that is free to play that I feel like we should both play.
That is something that I've noticed scouring indie games more and more for this, particularly for this show.
Yeah.
Dating simulators.
Yeah.
And games with half-naked anime girls.
Yes.
Like those are
mostly
huge
because
markets in the indie.
They port them over from Japan, but the basic thing is that all like dating sims and things like that, they're basically choose your own adventure books.
Okay.
So they're super easy to code. Like you just make choices and based on your choices, it turns to that page. So they're very easy to develop. I mean, I used to do text-based ones back when I was a kid programming in BASIC.
Right.
I used to do that kind of stuff all the time. Like if this, then this. So I get that it's an easy thing to develop if you're new.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah,
and then at that point, it's just the art.
Good. Right.
Right.
So yeah. So that'll be February. February will be good.
Indeed.
Excited.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. What was it like the dad dating simulator? Is that the one that was gifted?
Yeah, Dream Daddy.
Yeah.
Dream Daddy. Not half as good as the one I bought myself.
No, is that the animal one or the
Hatoful Boyfriend, where you were the only human admitted to the prestigious school for pigeons? Yes.
Oh, the pigeon. Yeah, that's right.
There's a cat one too I was looking at.
Of course there is.
But then there's another one called... there's another word.
Where would our February episode fall?
There's the 5th and the 5th and the 19th.
19th, okay.
So the other one that I think we should both play is Doki Doki Literature Club, which that should be the one we do for the end of the week, which has a warning on it that is not for people that are easily disturbed.
It's always a good warning.
It looks like a dating sim, but it's not.
It's always a good warning.
Yeah, it's apparently pretty awesome.
Annalisa spoke up with a raccoon
in
Twitch chat. So yeah, Twitch chat is kind of quiet, which I don't necessarily. Oh, is Twitch chat acting up? Is it just it's?
Maybe it is.
She said it wasn't letting her submit anything for a bit. Hello. So maybe Twitch is acting up. So, you want to just do the giveaway for the podcast?
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah, since Twitch.
I mean, we will auto enter Annalisa because she's sitting there.
Well, yeah, of course. So go ahead and tweet at us at IndieCaseFiles on Twitter, and do hashtag. I don't know, just tweet at us with hashtag. Well, no, don't do hashtag Stardew. Christ. I don't know. What do you think?
Tweet at us. We'll read them. It's not that hard.
Yeah, that's
I got
true.
this.
There you go. Tweet at us with I don't know, hashtag ICF Stardew or ICF. Maybe probably that ICF Stardew.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So tweet at us at IndieCaseFiles with hashtag ICF Stardew, and we will pick a winner on the show in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Cool. Which will be January 22nd.
Yes.
And on that episode, I will be talking about Factorio, and you're gonna do what?
I gotta pick something.
You gotta pick something.
I'm
Okay.
not positive. Yeah.
All right, which we'll announce on that Twitter page.
Yep.
I mean, again, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I'll still be sitting here playing Stardew. I'll be exactly where I am right now.
Amy's Stardew
like,
review part
fine.
2.
It's fine, guys. You don't even know.
All
I've got
Amy's gonna
tickets
play for
now.
like the next 8 weeks of episodes. Stardew.
You did this.
I
made
knew
this
you'd
happen.
like it. It's a good game. I was amazed you hadn't played it yet.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like it
I
was
don't know
the
how it
shit. Like
happened.
everybody was talking about it.
I know. I don't know how it happened. I think that's why. Everybody's like, Stardew. I'm like, all right, reel it in, everybody.
Yeah, but now you understand.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I understand because it's what I've been playing for 20 years. It's fine.
Do you want to let people know where else they can find you?
Oh, geez. Like I'm prepared for that sort of information.
Do you want me to do it for you?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I don't even know where I am. Where am I? What's happening?
You do a podcast about some Blizzard game.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's the overcastpodcast.com. Overcastpodcast.com? No, the overcastpodcast.com. Just released episode 138, which is nonsense. If you want to follow my cosplay stuff, it's danyoracosplay.com is my Etsy store, DANIORA, facebook.com/DanyoraCosplay, and on Twitter at Danyora. What do you got? Where are you? What are you doing?
Me?
You.
You can follow all of my live stuff. xsynicx.tv. That's xsynikx.tv. That's where all my live stream gaming goes. My daughter and I are going to be bringing some stuff back too, so we'll be doing some live gaming. That's probably going to be on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays will be a loaded day because everything that Brandon and I used to do on Fridays, other than Mind of a Geek, is now going to be on Wednesdays. And then also stuff with her as well. So Wednesday is going to be a busy day.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, it'll be really cool. But yeah, lately it's been... Oh, what have I been playing? I was doing a Far Cry Primal playthrough, which is a lot of fun. The Division a lot lately. I, against my better judgment, got back into Elder Scrolls Online because it's still a fun game. Like I mentioned, Factorio. I don't know. It's always something different. What do we?
Our thrilling Civ streams.
Yeah, the Civ streams. Which, I mean, talk about a spectator sport. Occasionally, I'll hop on with these guys and play some Overwatch. Occasionally, Mr. Hugo and I will play some Heroes of the Storm. Like it's a mixed bag. So
yeah,
hop on, toss me a follow, and I don't know, if I'm playing something that you like, hang out for a little while. If not, then don't. As for this show, you can catch the show live every other Monday at inkedgeekstudios.tv or twitch.tv/inkedgeekstudios, whichever you prefer. And toss that place a follow too, because all of our shows are done there live. It'll be Wednesdays, Mondays, and Fridays, with the occasional Sunday for a wrestling pay-per-view. If you want to support Indie Case Files and Inked Geek Studios, please consider going to patreon.com/IG As Annalisa says, give them $1. So we're changing some things up. I haven't fully updated the Patreon yet as far as different things here and there, but like pre-show, post-show stuff, it's all going to work a little bit differently. But if you go in there and just do the $1 a month, you'll get access to pre and post show content for different shows, which will include bonus guest stuff for Mind of a Geek and things like that. And I mean, I don't know, we're adding a little bit here and there. Things are still kind of falling back into place. So, one thing that we are really close to, I think we're like $15 or $20 away, is the monthly patron hangout. So if you get us to that $50 a month goal, as a patron, you will be invited to that hangout. And you can hang out with either myself, Amy, Brandon, Hugo, whoever's on there for kind of the month, and we'll hang out with our fans and just do like a round table for like a half hour, 45 minutes, hour, whatever. Hang out, and you guys can ask us whatever you want within reason.
Thank you for that caveat.
But yeah, I think that'll do it for this week. So I would, again, highly recommend checking out this game. Depending on your tastes and play style, again, it might be 20 minutes here and there or 6 hours at a time. But I think it has a little bit of something for almost everybody. And again, if you want a free copy of the game, tweet at us at IndieCaseFiles on Twitter, hashtag ICF Stardew or ICF giveaway. What did I say?
ICF Stardew.
Okay, ICF Stardew. In 2 weeks, we will announce a winner. And then I will gift you the code on Steam. It is a Steam copy of the game, by the way. So for Twitch or console players, I apologize, but it is purely a Steam copy of the game. That is what I have. That is what you get. For Amy, for myself, and for the rest of Inked Geek Studios, thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.